Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked. Brad and I are doing a discussion over Evenfall, which was a game that I was highly anticipating whenever I first saw it. I don't even remember how I came across it. I think I was telling you that it happened to be a Rado video that I was like, oh, what's that about? Because the cover is very intriguing. It's like a giant tree, and I'm like, well, that looks really neat. And then I was looking into the game, and I was like, oh, that looks right up my alley, because it's basically Elysium, and since we're never getting anything with that game, ever, like we've been holding out hope for, this one I was just very intrigued by, and I'm happy to say I think this game is fantastic.
Yeah, this is one that because I had never even heard of this until I saw it at Miniature Market. Like, it popped up on Miniature Market, I saw the cover, and then I clicked on it and then you started hearing, it was one of those rare non-Kickstarter games that...
That's true.
That just comes out,
Well, because it was released in, Germany, I think, and took forever to come over, because I was like, man, do I pay for the shipping? Do I pay to get the English, to get it to come over here? And then it was like, no, it's coming to the States. This is going to be a few months later. So I'm like, all right, I'll wait. And then, it's finally here. But yeah, because these kinds of games, haven't really been in my wheelhouse lately. I haven't really been, super keen on playing, Euros or things. I'm, really just into, the narrative games lately. But, yeah, because it looks way more complex than I think it actually is.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like it's, symbol heavy and, worker placement heavy, multi-use cards, so it's going to be AP prone, and it's just, it looks like it was going to be a bear to teach and learn and play, and it's not. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think you do kind of get a little AP, especially as the game goes on, where it's I want to do so many things, but I don't have the resources, the workers, or the places.
That's the curse of any game that has multi-use cards.
Right.
It gives you that many more levels of options.
Because each round, because it's oh man, only 3 rounds, I guess the game's going to be over super quick, but I thought it was going to be, it was nope, I really feel like each round is going to get a little bit longer because you have now more to do, more cards, more synergy, and it's just a fantastic, really, engine builder. So, because I'm assuming you liked it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's what I expected it to be. I mean, I expected it to be good from what I've been hearing. And
yeah.
There's a little bit of a learning curve to get the fluidity of play.
Yeah.
To figure out when to do certain things.
Yeah.
And
especially because all the cards are while they're not 100% unique, they're unique enough. Mm-hmm. Because at first it's oh man, there's duplicates. That's kind of lame. But then you realize, oh, their endgame abilities are different. Mm-hmm. So, in this particular game, both our opening turns was literally playing the exact same person, and I was like, this is going to be one of those games where we just kind of mimic each other the whole time, but then it's oh, wait a minute, no, the endgame abilities are different.
Right. And
I found myself kind of regretting the specialists I put in, because the strategy I happened to go for worked for their council member abilities. The Nora Will Forger, at the end of the game, I get to do 3 transfers. It's oh, that's amazing. But I have him over here. But his ability of being able to spend mana to build catalysts was way better than the 3 transfers. So you have those kinds of decisions on, do I want them here, or do I want to put them in my council member and work towards that? But their powers as a specialist is so good. But
yeah.
So, granted, theme, this does not...
anything.
It could literally be anything. It could be, this could be sci-fi for all intents and purposes. The idea of being... even, the book is yeah, you're witches fighting for power in a time of upheaval. Anyway, here's how the game works. So, the art is gorgeous. I love it. I don't know what kind of art style this is, but like every single artwork is amazing in terms of the rituals and the places of power, and the specialists are all fantastic. Even one little artwork they have on like the battlefield areas are just a nice aesthetic. So let's go ahead and talk about. Do you have any negatives on the game?
It's, I don't know. These kind of games, I think it's more on these kind of games that there can be a runaway leader thing if you get the right engine, which can be in a lot of games. That's not a negative necessarily, because that happens in tons of games like this where you're building a tableau and doing stuff. But that's something that you need to watch for and know. Yeah. Because, well, like this last game we played, you had the engine and you beat me by 30 so on points. Yeah. And it was just because that one engine, you just kept, and every time you'd give me 1 point, you'd gain 3, and it was just like, right. You know, so.
Yeah, not only do I now get, because I got 2 of the cards that were the same of the Chameleon Doll, where it's like, oh, hey, now they're in my inner circle with my elders. I'm going to go there, copy your ability that gives me stuff, and I give you a point. Oh, hey, I gave you a point. Each time I do that, I get 3 points. Yeah. So each time I was copying your stuff, with my elders, I can only really go into your inner circle. So for giving you 2 points, I get 6.
Right.
That's huge. I do agree with that. I think to kind of tie into that as not necessarily a negative, it's just something to watch out for, is learning the cards. Knowing what is in here is going to be crucial to a strategy in multiple uses, especially as you play this with more and more people, to know kind of what to look for. This is the game that definitely rewards, I mean, it's an engine builder, tableau building, learning when to pull things down, because if you don't have any cards in your outer circle, you're not getting to harvest a lot, which is huge. Especially if you're on the moon side where you don't get like an innate 2 resources. It's just like, hey, whatever your resources are, whatever your places of power, so you hold on to those. I'm dying, apparently. That's so fucking gross. You hold on to your places of power more versus like when you move them over, which is an awesome thing that we've always liked in like Elysium or have you played Tyrants of the Underdark?
No.
Okay. Well, you do that too, of putting stuff into your inner circle, actually, I think is what it's called. But that type of understanding of, okay, I know there's 2 Ink Tombbounds. One of them gives me 3 points for each orb. The other one is, what was it? So each time you transfer a place of power, you get 3 points.
Right.
So that, I think, can definitely, like, rewards people who have played this before. If you're teaching new players and they're just like, every time it's like, oh hey, like you're on the sun side, like everyone gets 6 cards, and like your games are okay, here's a whole new 6 cards, so everyone's sitting there looking through what they can do. And I agree. I think the game can definitely kind of lean a little bit more into people's favor just by sheer randomness of the deck.
But like I said, that can be. There's tons of games like that.
There are tons of games.
I mean, there's enough decisions here that, like, even though you were running away with this game, I was still doing stuff and making big swings. It's just my swings weren't as big as your swings because I was more trying to use his where I'm doubling up on the battle stuff, because I was ahead in mana. This whole game, I had tons of mana. This whole
and there are definitely cards. I mean, there's cause, like, where was it? There was a specialist that would have been disgusting for you, and I remember seeing it earlier. God, hold on, I'll find it. It was very, very good for you. It was about winning battles. Each time you win a battle, 4 points.
Yeah.
Like, and if you have a mana engine where you're just, so you're gonna win, all you have to do is just place a worker in each one of those, and it's like, oh, okay, now I'm participating in 3 battles, and I'm most likely going to win because I have 17 mana. Especially in a 2-player game where it's like, well, you're only competing with me. So I liked also the fact that each person still gets the battle rewards, but it's about who gets the power stones.
Right.
but it's like, oh, you won in this one, and so you're going to get 4 points. Oh, and you get to double up, so that means you're going to get the 6 twice. So that means you're going to get 10 points just for winning that battle, on top of getting a Power Stone.
Right.
And that's the other guy of the Nora Willforger, so like he's the one that lets you spend mana as a catalyst to build a bunch of those. So that, because like literally one hand of cards, because I had the Stag King pretty much since the beginning, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll try and go 4 familiars this game. And I think it was in the final round, my entire hand of 6, 4 of them were familiars. And it's like, oh, lucky me. Now, and one of them was another Stag King. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough places of power to play both of them, but that's just kind of how it could turn out, which could be very annoying, where it's like, oh, hey, I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. Okay, I'm going to play another one. I'm going to get 7 points now.
Right.
Lucky me, 13-point swing. So, it depends. Like, because I don't think there's really enough. I mean, it's just a deck, so I don't know how you would like really fix it, because I mean, more people, less chances of one person getting all of like a really good card, I guess, would fix it. Do you have any other negatives?
I don't necessarily think so,
Because I kind of have one.
I mean, and maybe say yours, because
So, and it could just be a translation issue, but I couldn't find anything in the rules or the setup, which is very rare for me to look in setup to see if there's a translation issue. But as the way we've been playing, when it says replenish, you just fill up empty spots, and at the end of the round, it says replenish spots, so it's like, it seems like places of power just kind of stay there, and a lot of places of power require 2 workers. And in a game where a lot of your cards are rituals that go on places of power that can only hold 1, it feels like a very steep price to pay to send 2 of your 4 workers to get 1 place of power, and it doesn't cycle out.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, granted, the ones that cost 2 typically come with a binding bonus, or they come with resources that you need. And there are cards that allow you to discover things for free. But yeah, that was one thing that I was like, man, I'm so limited on places of power, and unless I go and get the cheap ones. But I guess I'm not getting into the cards that let me get them for free. So if cards like this one is like, hey, I don't want any of those, they cost too much, and I don't really want to fight for control in the southern slopes, so I guess those are just going to stay there. I don't know if that's a translation issue and they're supposed to get discarded, but I looked in the setup, and it made sure to specify leave a place for a discard pile for the cards, but not for the things. So that made me think you don't wipe and refresh.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it kind of makes sense balance-wise, because, you know, you have to have places of power to, you know, to build out and stuff. So if you're having to put 2 people out there, that means if somebody else is going battle heavy, they could go on the other 2 and win 2 battles to your 1, and that could be a way to even it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you're using half your workers to get a place of power, and you would possibly win the battle too, but then that leaves you less likely to. Yeah. Because you have to use them for these abilities too, which conversions are different odds and ends. So it kind of opens the door battle-wise for somebody to take 2 to 1.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I mean, it's kind of a...
I mean, I guess, it is, it's like a lot of the cards depend on certain things of like transfer stuff, or getting catalysts, or winning battles, or mana, or like having scythes in your thing, and that could be super powerful, but it's like, well, you're kind of restricting me on being able to play those cards to get victory points. So I don't know. I mean, like, clearly I had enough to be able to go out and get them, and there are ways to get them for free. And some of them allow you to actually send your elders out to go and to a location, but typically your elders are only for Inner Coven. So it's just interesting. Like, it feels like it's kind of working against itself for what the game overall is trying to do. It's not a major negative, but it's like, God, do I want to send 2 workers out to... That felt like the most limiting resource to me, was the witches.
It was. Yeah, that was tricky, because you have all these... You have the action spots that'll let you do something, but then you also need to get them out to battle. Mm-hmm. You have these that you build here, so you're really limited on what you're... Like, as you put things out here, too, it's kind of... what I was going to say, though, is you could easily house rule that and just discard those and throw
that
them.
Is true. You could very much do that.
It's not going to change the game at all. You just every time you refresh by just taking them all out, put new ones in, you just call it good. I mean, that's a simple fix for that. You know?
Right. What do you think about the 2 types of workers? Like,
I think it's cool.
You like
Especially, of course, I didn't run into any cards, but it would be neat if there was certain, maybe a specialist that you could put out that's like, hey, you can use your elders at a certain different spot. Yeah. You know, or something like that. That's like if it was some old...
I mean, there's one, Eshir the Tempter, you can tap it to place an elder on an opponent's specialist to copy its effect until the end of the round.
Right, so I mean, that's kind of something, but I didn't know how much of that there was, because like your elders are pretty much not...
No, they do just kind of sit there. They're so hyper-specific. They kind of become useful pretty much towards the end, because that's whenever you're most likely going to be transferring down.
Well, it makes you want to try to get these drop down, which takes them out harvest, so that you can start doing more on your turn.
Which
but
is
in
again,
a 3-round game, you need to try to maximize.
This has a lot of different feels. Like I mean, Elysium is the one that makes the most sense to me, just because of they're deciding to transfer down. That's the one that's like, oh, that's from another game. But this also kind of has like a Everdell feel, where it's like you're trying to kind of extend each round as much as possible. You don't want to sit on resources. You don't want to sit on... You pretty much every round you're doing everything in a meticulous order to go further than what your opponents can do.
There's a lot of different, like Elysium and that, and Imperial Settlers with the tucking of the cards.
Yeah, that's true.
And having your board and putting stuff at different sides.
Oh yeah, it does kind of have. Yeah, that's true.
Battling sorcerers, so there you go for sorcerer.
Yep, that's 100%. It's just like that.
Yeah, I mean there's just a lot of different things plugged together using this kind of like Scythe.
Yeah,
you know, where you're putting your battle.
The battle is the only thing in this game that feels a little bit tacked on, because it's like, well, you're really only battling for the Power Stones, and the Power Stones just let you double victory points. Like,
unless you're,
cards give you benefits for winning battles and stuff, but yeah, like the battle rewards, it's like, well, I mean, I also have mana, so it's like, to me, it feels like, well, the winner should get the battle rewards only.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, I also spent 6 mana, so I get the 3 points in the card, and you spent 6 mana, so you get 3 points in the card, and you also get a Power Stone. Okay. Whatever. Like, it maybe it's just because it's like this game was like a 2-player game, so it's like, okay, well, we don't have enough people that it's like, I'm the only one here, you're the only one here, and we're both here. So it kind of felt like we were just trading off and on, and I didn't feel it was super powerful to be able to fight a lot.
Right. I could see a 3-player game of this being probably the sweet spot, because 4 might be a little long.
Yeah.
3 would be good because there's just enough conflict in those spots. Because do these boards change with player count?
These boards are 1 to 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So 4 probably adds a third.
So people say
third spot.
Yeah. People say it's best at 2 and 3. Yeah. Pretty much the same exact.
4 I could see being longer with all the AP and all the craziness.
Yeah, it would be a little bit much.
But 3 I think would be like probably the best. In my mind. We haven't played it at 3, but I could just see 3 being really solid with this, because then you're going to have more than one there, so there's going to be more conflict that you're going to need to.
Yeah, workers become a lot more important.
Some of the cards.
More options for I'm going to copy an opponent's ritual.
Right.
I'm going to be given points. Yada yada yada. Yeah, there's a little bit more going on. I think just to add a little bit more wrinkle of things.
But then 2-player game. This game took what? An hour at max.
Yeah, it's
super
quick.
With 2 people.
Still feeling like that's the cool thing is like you never have enough workers, resources, or places of power, but you never feel starved for them.
Right.
Like, you're never sitting here going, I can't get fucking resources. You know, it's like, you just might have to be like, God, I have to sacrifice. Like, I want my 4 workers, but I need to send one of them out to discard a card to get 3 resources. So it gives you decision making without you going like, I can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you always get to do something. And that's what makes this game really shine for me, is at the end of it, it's like, that was a solid hour and a half game that I felt set. Like, I didn't feel like my engine's just going off at the end, you know? Where it's like, it just like edges you the whole time.
Right.
You're just like, I'm almost there. Game's over. It's like, anyway, that was fun. It's like, no, it wasn't. I have blue balls now. It's like, this hurts. So this game really does a fantastic job of like an engine builder, multi-use cards in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it just really, really was a sweet spot for me. Yeah, I mean, I love tracks as well. I love also the fact that the moon side has asymmetrical powers that give you pretty much, like, a lot of them are different free actions, different special or council member cost, different scout bonuses. Like, one is like, for like the star, for example, it's like you get 5 cards, 3 books, 3 mana. The star moon side is just 9 cards. It's like, oh god. So, and then like the other 2 is, here's the moon side. Is like the cross is 5 cards. So their scout's the same, but they have an actual witch spot that lets them advance on the coven track. And they get to replace the slash when they do that with a plus, so they get both. And then the circle gets 6 during their scout. They get 6 cards, 3 mana, and they get to harvest. But their track is also different. So I think the asymmetrical player powers is really a very nice touch. So yeah, the one thing I don't really know is why there's a 1 on the back of these. Because it makes me think there's supposed to be different cards.
I'm wondering if that's the expansion.
Maybe
if there's going to be a different, like, you can't mix the locations. I wonder.
Maybe
there's going to be some 1s and some 2s.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know?
I don't know. But
like everything's there's probably gonna be like dark side, like an evil, like
there's like
an area, and there's gonna be like war torn places or something like that.
Let's see, Evenfall, because it's called the Crystal Path. Unveiled magic that was once believed to be lost. It contains 2 new clans, a crystal path, and many new ritual specialists and places of power to explore. With a new catalyst, the crystal, you will unveil a new form of magic. Parts of this expansion can be modularly integrated into the base game.
One thing I had a question. What are those?
Oh, these? I was
those multipliers.
There's multipliers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I remember I was like, what? Yeah, because I've never used them.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, what? Yeah. But again, this game, it looks like it has a lot going on. That it's going to be like I put this. It's like, because it gives with the multi-use cards and stuff. It's like if Maracaibo has like all those shit on one card, this is like a step underneath that.
Yeah, it's definitely easier to get to that. And I'm curious what the solo would be like with this.
The solo, I didn't read. I've seen it played solo, but it basically has this track that that determines what actions it does, and it actually has the rules on here already. But it kind of has its own coven track. It collects cards and stuff. So I don't know how efficient it is. I just know that that's kind of similar how it works. Insert is pure dog shit. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and say that. It's any Euro just seems to be like, hey, how about we just put, cardboard cross in there, and that's good enough. That's my other negative, is like the insert sucks. But that's all I have.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give an Evenfall?
I think just being played 2, I can see, like I said earlier, I could see being better at 3 even. I'm still going to probably give it about 9.
9, damn, yeah. That's
I
where
really
at
liked
too.
it. Yeah, I mean it when we were first learning this game, or when you were teaching it to me, it was very ominous.
Yeah.
But it took maybe, the first round.
Yeah.
Or maybe not partially through maybe the first couple actions.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, okay. You're starting to, it picks up real quick. I know I could teach it to my wife, and because I haven't even taken mine out of the shrink yet. But,
okay, I didn't know if you ended up getting a copy.
Yeah, I have it. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot to this game. There's a lot of cards in the deck. The locations. I'm assuming there's not a ton of repeats. I mean, there's a lot of, that's a big deck if you're not replenishing.
Yeah, I mean,
so, it's
the locations are. I mean, they're mainly used as a catalyst for your rituals, but I mean, they're still important. I mean, they're super important, but they have binding bonuses where it's like if you play a card on top of them, you get a bonus. Which, I mean, one of mine was huge to my strategy of like the cavern, where it's like, okay, I'm gonna play this familiar on it, which no, it was this one, yeah, which is kind of a cool combo. It's like, okay, I'm gonna use the chameleon doll that I have to use your thing to play a ritual for free. I'm gonna play it on the sanctum, and the sanctum lets me move it down. Lets me do a transfer with my other chameleon doll. So now on my next turn, I can do the exact same thing.
Right.
You get a lot of those, a lot of cool combos where every turn or every player gets to feel like that they're doing something. Whether or not the score is a massive difference. It's like, because I don't have a problem if I like lose a game. It's like as long as I felt like I played.
Yep.
And it's like, well, I didn't fucking get to do anything this whole time. That's frustrating. And I lost, so that's even more frustrating. So yeah, I'm also at a 9. Like, I think this game, I'm so happy that it ended up being, like, what I was hoping it was going to be. I know you mentioned some of your podcast guys mentioned Res Arcana. I don't get it.
Yeah, and maybe it's just because it's the sorcery stuff. Maybe. Theme-wise.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I like I said, he was just talking about it, and that was before he played it. He says it gave him vibes of that, so I'm assuming it's probably the theme.
Maybe theme.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, that's our thoughts on Evenfall. Let us know what you think of it in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.